All right. Believe we are live. Let me get everything set up here. What's up, everyone? Okay, cool. That's set up there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to pull up the questions here on Facebook. Hopefully, as people arrive, you guys can just see me kind of diddle-daddle for a minute here as I get all this ready to go. It's so much harder when I have to do this at home instead of from the office. Got so many more things that just make it easier at the office. Okay. Yes. Cool. I'm going to be managing so many things here. Hang with me, you guys. We're going to start in a minute. Got to make sure I've got all your questions pulled up, ready to go. Love all the engagement already. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a long one, just so we know. Awesome. Okay, you guys. Let me go ahead. We're going to start this over on Instagram, too. Les, what's up, my man? Who else is here? All right, you guys. Here we go. Episode 127 of Six Figure Live is about to start. Today's going to be a good episode because we've got so many things to talk about all over the place. So many questions, thoughts, discussion to have. I'm really excited. I also got Instagram here, which is great. Pushing both ways, right? We're pushing to Facebook right there, main audience. We got Instagram here. Jason Bosco's watching on Instagram. What's up? Jason Crocker's watching on Instagram. You guys, there's been so many questions that have come in. And I just want to talk for a hot second about the entire mentality behind Q&A Friday. Look, I get emails all the time from photographers, and it's because I'm asking the questions, right? I'm asking you guys questions. What are we struggling with as a community? What are you struggling with as a photographer? And rather than me receive those questions and then just message that one photographer back, look, if there's one photographer out there who's having a challenge or a struggle, they've got a question, I'd much rather address it to as many people as possible, right? Like I want to address it to you guys. Just to keep helping everyone out. And so the way that this works is I'm always going to prioritize live questions, all right? But I've gotten a ton that have already hit the inbox. They've hit Facebook, they've hit Instagram. Well, really just like one's hit Instagram. I'm talking to you, Jason Torrance. I saw you on there. And so we're going to jump right in. If this is your first time joining Six Figure Live, there's 126 other episodes. You guys get that, right? On Instagram, there's 126 other episodes over on Facebook to go check out. The entire purpose, again, is just to give you guys inspiration and direction and motivation to kick in the ass because it's hard. It's freaking hard doing this every single day. And doing it alone and isolated in our homes and locked away in our bedrooms with our kids crying on the other side of the door. And so I just want to help to give you guys some of that direction and to talk about this stuff together. So let's jump right in. Who else is here? Mackenzie's here, Renee, Garrett. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for joining. It's Friday. Does anybody else... My wife maybe got a little upset with me when I said this, and I understand where she was coming from. I kind of hate Fridays. I kind of hate Fridays because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like I got so much to do. And I've got this like fire burning in me, right? Once Friday hits and then I got Saturday, Sunday, yes, I enjoy the time with my family. I enjoy that downtime. But it's also time that my brain is just like coming up with all the things that that we can be doing and that can keep growing and that I can keep pouring into my business. So once that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday hits, I'm like so fired up and ready to go. And then I start to get a little bit sad that like, man, I got to bring it to a close Thursday, Friday. So anyhow, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Lindsay, what's up, girl? Glad you're here. Who else is joining on Instagram? Logan Brown's on Instagram. Logan, good to see you, my man. Glad you're here. All right, we're going to jump in and we're going to start talking about questions because you guys, we've got so many questions to address. And we're gonna start again. If anyone has any other questions, thoughts, feel free to drop them in. I'll always prioritize live, and we're just gonna get right to it. For starters, there's been a few that have hit my inbox, and so I'm just gonna jump in on those real quick and pull those up for us. Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. Gary. Gary sent me a message and said this: one of the biggest struggles that I face as a photographer isn't getting leads in the door. It's not attracting clients. It's actually closing the booking, right? Getting like, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. The biggest problem is actually getting the booking, right? From an inquiry that just like goes silent. Like, you know how this goes, right? You meet with them and then they just like leave. You don't hear from them again. Or they decide to go and they hire somebody else. Maybe they decide to hire a friend, some other photographer to shoot the wedding, and just lots of excuses, right? And so how do you get the booking? How do you close, right? Look, I think that there could be a number of reasons, Gary, why the booking is failing. There's really two reasons why you're not closing the booking. I'm going to address those reasons, and then we're going to talk about some ideas that you could use to actually close the deal. The two reasons why people don't buy is either one, they can't afford you, and that's their fault, right? Or two, you didn't provide enough value. And if that's the case, Gary, it's your fault. It's either your fault or it's their fault. And it's okay. Sometimes we get people in the door and we get a chance to sit down and we connect and we talk, and they just can't afford us, and that's okay. Now, here's the deal. There's a couple of things you can do, intentional structure strategies that you can do during your meeting to help to foster the booking, right? Look, you talked about them going silent, right? Or maybe going and meeting someone else and going and hiring somebody else. I really want to encourage you to incentivize your couples, the people that you're meeting with, to book with you now. Like, to book with you that day. Like, give them a reason, incentivize them to do so. And so one of the ways that we do this is after we meet with people, I actually take time to understand, what do they value? Because look, I'm not just going to be like, look, and if you buy today, you get a photo booth added onto your collection for free. If you buy today, you get the digital files. If you buy today, you get an engagement session. That's basic. That's like a general incentive. But what if someone doesn't want an engagement session? What if someone doesn't want a photo booth? And so listen and actually find out, what is it that the person you're meeting with, the lead that you're meeting with, actually values. Understand what they value. And then ahead of time, understand your bottom line, understand your numbers, and understand what you have the ability to gift, right? If a client spends X, you have the ability to gift X. And have a list of things, right? A list of options that you could incentivize to give. And so I love to say to people, look, I really want to shoot your wedding, and I just want to make this a no-brainer. If you let me know by tonight, if you let me know by tomorrow, by noon, I know how important the engagement session is to you, and the collection that you're looking at, it includes our basic engagement shoot. I want to give you an upgraded one, right? Let me know. I really would love to do that. So figure out what those incentives are. But first off, you have to know your numbers to start. You've got to know your margins. You've got to know what you can actually offer people. And then you got to listen. You got to listen to your clients and actually invest time into seeing what they care about. So, okay, cool. Let's keep going. How people doing here? Dude, I have so many windows pulled up right now. It's really intense on my monitor system over here. There's like so many things going on. Okay, cool. Victoria just asked a question live. Victoria, I'm hopping over to you, girl. Hey, thanks for joining, by the way. You guys, thank you so much for all the engagement during this episode, for all the questions, for all the involvement. I love it. It really it means the world to me. So, okay, Victoria says this. Hey, Ben, how often were you upping your packages? Every year, every 6 months? For me, I've been raising my packages a little by little after every single booking. And is this a bad thing? When do you know if it's time to get to the 4K mark, 4,000 starting mark? Look, Victoria, I'm going to start by answering your question backwards. Let's start with the whole 4K mark. Why is that like something in your head? Like, look, if you're in New York, then 4,000 is probably like, hey, I'm a brand new photographer just starting out. Like, it just all depends on your market, right? And so there's no special, like, I'm starting at $4,000 mark. That's, I don't know, meaningful. I think the mark that you need to be evaluating of like, what's your mark is again, knowing your numbers, knowing how many weddings you need to shoot a year. First off, understand how much you need to make, not need to make, want to make, right? And not just to get by, not just to like pay the bills, but to enjoy life, to put away retirement, to help pay for your kids' college, to have an emergency fund, like how much to enjoy like a vacation, right? So how much do you want to make? And then how many weddings do you want to shoot a year?
and then how much you need to charge on average to make that amount, and that becomes your special mark, not just like a generic 4K. Okay, but I get where you're going, dear. But I know, to answer your question, Victoria, when you're first starting out, I want to encourage you to be raising your prices. It's kind of like a scale here, like a ramping scale. I want to see those prices getting raised more often, more frequently. And then after you start hitting your stride, it's gonna slow down a little bit. What happens is photographers start out low, and I've got no problem with that. If you're just entering into the market, you can start out at a lower price point. Look, amen, good for you. Just do that. But then what happens is photographers get comfortable, and equally as much photographers get scared that if they raise their prices, everyone will flee, and that's where we run into problems. And so, to answer your question, in a middle ground kind of situation, probably where you're at, Victoria, you're not just starting out, you're not at the 4K mark or whatever your goal is. I raise my prices 3 times, or rather under 3 circumstances. Number one, I do a quarterly evaluation. Every 3 months, I take a look at our brand, I take a look at our numbers, I take a look at our bookings, I take a look at of our average sales, I take a look at our goals for the year, of where we need to be, and we evaluate, right? Where are we doing? Like, where are we at? How are we doing? Do we need to keep the numbers the same? Do we need to go down in price? Do we need to go up? What do we need to do? So I evaluate every quarter. The next thing we do is, any time, please, if you're ever going to raise your price, commit to yourself that you'll do it during this one situation. If you can, my God, just listen up, Victoria. Anytime you invest in yourself, you invest in bettering your business, you invest in bettering your photography, you invest in bettering the service and the value that you give your people. If there's ever a time to raise your prices, it's then, okay? Anytime you invest into yourself, raise your prices. I always did this. Anytime I took a workshop, I bought a class. Like, if I'm going to buy a class, if I'm going to attend a workshop, if I'm going to better my craft, it better make me more money. And it was just a rule, and it also changed then. It was a little bit of a mind hack. A growth hack, if you will, because when I went into those workshops, and when I went into that online course, and when I went into that conference, WPPI just ended, right? When I did that with the understanding that I'm going to raise my price when I get back, it means I took it fucking seriously. I didn't just show up to this thing and like hang out with my bros and go to some parties and burn time. I took it seriously, and I applied what I learned, all right? And it forced me to, because I knew, like, look, if I'm going to attend this, if I'm going to invest in myself, I better be raising my prices, okay? Raise your prices every time you invest in yourself. The last one is this, and this all depends on your pricing structure. Don't take this one as a complete rule of thumb, but anytime someone did buy my highest package up, my anchored collection, that's when I also would raise my prices as well. But again, take that as a rule of thumb. Because it all depends on how you structure your packages, right? If you're always aiming to book your top package because it's not anchored, then don't follow that rule. But my top collection is anchored. That's a whole pricing structure strategy thing that we could talk about another day. So there you go. Great, Victoria, great question, girl. All right. Stephanie says this: you mentioned an upgraded engagement session. How do you change the engagement session experience to an upgrade? Stephanie, really awesome question. We've got 2 different options for our engagement shoots. The first option is a natural shoot. That's just what we call it. You could call it the A shoot. I don't care. The B shoot. It's an engagement session. The difference is this: our normal engagement session is 1 hour, 1 photographer, 1 location, 1 outfit. They show up however they want. I'm going to arrive onto the scene, and we're going to blow it up, and it's going to look amazing. Sweet. Styled shoot's different. Like the higher shoot is different. The better shoot is going to be, we're going to work with a couple ahead of time to come up with a look and a feel for the shoot. What's the guy going to wear to come with the girl, or the guy to wear to come with the other guy? I don't care, what the situation is. Is it more formal or more casual? Now we can do both. It's going to be a 2 to 3 hour shoot, multiple locations, 2 photographers, multiple outfit changes, right? It's going to be a more cohesive body of work. And so that would be a way to differentiate between those. They could also include different end results, right? Maybe one of them is just proofs. Maybe the other one is full high-res digital negatives, the print release. Maybe the basic one includes nothing. Maybe the top one includes an engagement signing guest book. There's so many ways to delineate. Great question, Stephanie. Thanks for asking. Mackenzie says this: I just booked and coaching from another constituent. Just raised my prices last week. Now hoping what I'm learned helps. Mackenzie, it'll help. Take it in. Look, you just bought booked. Awesome. I'm so stoked that you bought booked, girl. Now do it, right? Don't just let it sit on your computer. Okay, go and log in and ingest that stuff. Take it in and then apply. It's only going to work if you actually put in the work. Okay, and it takes work. It takes so much work, but do it. I'm so awesome. I'm just really excited for you, Mackenzie. Stoked. Okay, cool. There were some live questions there. Let me hop over to some of the other ones. We're going to keep this thing moving. All right, you guys. This question came from Sin. Sin actually asked this on last episode of Facebook Live. And I didn't get a chance to answer it at that point because I was kind of on a roll. I was kind of on fire, and I wanted to end it with a good mic drop. But Sin asked this. She said, "I have a Facebook photography page, but not getting second shooting jobs. Is that important to have my own professional?" Okay, I have a Facebook photography page, but I'm not getting second shooting jobs. Is it important to have my own professionally built website? It's so expensive, especially for someone who doesn't shoot enough to cover costs of designing, maintaining a website. Okay, cool. So it sounds like this is the question. There's a second shooter photographer out there, right? Not everyone's a head shooter, and everyone has officially their own business. They're a second shooter. They've got a Facebook page, but they don't have a full business page. Do you need it in order to get gigs? Look, it's 2017. Sin, it's 2017. Get a fucking website. I love you, girl, but get a website. It's not so expensive. You don't have to maintain it like what you're saying. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. Like it just is. It becomes, even if you're not going to run the entire, your second shooting job, it is your job, right? It has to become the home. I would never hire a second shooter who I didn't have the chance to really see their work and understand what they were about, unless I just knew them. I was really close. There's a number of opportunities. Just even go Wix, right? Go Wix. You could get a really basic Squarespace or WordPress site and essentially just pay for the hosting of that, maybe $20 a year, and then a super basic design. Don't hire some graphic designer. Don't hire someone to custom build something. But Squarespace, Wix, what's the other one? WordPress. I think you can do it. And if you can't, go on Fiverr.com and go hire someone from Squarespace. Go hire someone from WordPress on Fiverr.com for $25 to just put together a real basic site, and that's it. You don't need to do a bunch of stuff with it. Okay, thanks, Sin. I appreciate it. Great question. Let me see what other questions have come through here. We got more. Okay. Anna sent me a message, and she says, this is a question about partnering with other photographers. And what she's talking about here is creating some sort of, let me just read the question. How about I just shut up and do that? How do I go about partnering with other photographers? Every time I think about the approach, it would just come across as, hi, I'm the new kid on the block and I just want your customers. What Anna's referring to is she's a new photographer in a new location, and I recommend getting to know the photography community, helping to partner with the photography community, and look into, there's opportunities once you actually build a relationship to receive referrals, right? Because I can't shoot every wedding, and neither can everyone else in the city. Not everyone can shoot every wedding. So, Sin, hey, Sin's watching live. Thanks, girl. Yeah, Sin, 2017. You got this. I know you do. Fiverr. Okay, back to Anna's question here. Look, in order to go into any situation and not look like you're showing up and just trying to take right off the bat, like, hey, I'm new, give me your leads. You have to show up and deliver value first, right, Anna? You can't just say, hey, I'm a stranger, no one knows me, I just moved here, help me, give me your leads. Look, maybe there's some really great, generous photographers who will do that. And so start with just showing up to the meetups, right? Then there's meetup groups. There's probably different Facebook groups online, and start contributing to those groups and giving back to them. Maybe start offering to just a second shoot or assist for free, right? If you're just trying to give value, but start first with just showing up and giving to them, and just give to them as, again, the community aspect. I can't tell you enough how, it'd be, especially if there are groups, if there's a meetup that's happening, let's say they get together every Tuesday or once every other month, right? That just do that. Just go to one of those and you're in. You get that, right? Go to one of those and just give a damn about people and be a good person and be nice and smile and ask people about their businesses and ask people about their photography. And then when you go and you shoot them a message, you're not a stranger anymore. Also, the little leads that you do have, anytime you can't shoot one of those, send that to somebody else, right? And make sure you direct message that photographer and say, hey, I just sent you this person, I hope they book, et cetera, et cetera. You got to show up with 51% of the value, Anna. You have to invest into them before they'll invest into you. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. This came from Cody. Cody has 2 questions for me. Cody says this: what format do you recommend giving clients their digital images in when it's included in the package or if it's purchased? This can be a branding thing. When it comes down to digital images, I truly want the digital files to be the least sexy thing possible. Let me explain. We are a studio that values print. I want my clients to have an album. I want my clients to have wall art. And it's not just all about this, right? You guys understand this. Get this inside your head. I just this morning spent over $1,000 on a family album for myself because I value print for myself. I value print for myself and I value it for my clients. I want the best. And I want them to have something that's real and that's physical and that they'll actually look at and that their kids will actually look at and that you can touch. It changes the way that you respond emotionally to those people in those pictures. So I want them to have print. And so in saying this, I don't want the digitals to arrive on this dope-ass USB stick that is trying to give them the feeling that it's something physical, and then you just put it in the computer and then it's just back to bullshit, right? I send them just a straight-up email with a link to an online gallery where they can download the pictures, right? And along the way, too, I belittle the digital files as I do it. That's a whole other conversation, all right? And so, like, it's pass, it's pixie set, it's shoot-proof, but that's how I do it because, understand this, because they get something better than digital. Every single one of our couples gets something better than digital. Every single one of my couples gets an album that's better than digital. Now, if I was just a shoot and burn photographer, I was just giving me the digital files, I'd probably be doing it differently. But I'd also have a hard time living with myself. Okay, Cody went on to say this. Number 2, he says, on the topic of photography contracts, I would like to know how to go about getting an official photography contract, okay? Because I wouldn't know what to say or do. Okay, he doesn't, or nor do I have the big bucks to pay a lawyer to write one. For me, how would you advise getting a contract? Okay, on the topic of photography contracts, this is what most photographers are doing. They're Googling wedding photography contract, and then they're going and then they're ripping something online, and then they're changing the name out. Right. Okay, so there's a couple things that you could do. First off, don't do that. Don't do it for a couple reasons. One, plagiarism. But the second thing is you have no clue what's in that contract. That contract could be could be dated. It could be complete bullshit. It could be from an entirely different state with different laws. There's so many things about that are problematic. So number 1 is there's someone called the Law Tog, Rachel Brenke from the Law Tog, and you could purchase a contract from her. Suck it up, go do it. The second thing is it's actually not that crazy expensive to work with a lawyer, depending on how you do it. If you have something for them to go off of, maybe some starting point rather than completely writing up one from scratch, you might be able to find some resources. There's some online law, they won't be like a personal lawyer, but they're online law like consultants or advice givers that you could source maybe the basics of a contract from, and then have a lawyer customize it to be fit for you. It probably costs around $200. All depending. This is one of those things of scale. Who knows how much the lawyer would cost to adjust it? But dude, it's one of the things you got to do. Alternatively, you could go on like Tave. Tave has a marketplace, I believe, where you can buy a contract within Tave, like buy a photography contract. So I would also take a look at some certain marketplaces like that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Tave does have one, actually. Can anyone else validate that? I use Tave, but I haven't bought their stuff. I believe that Tave has an online contract that you could use. But again, yep, Sin says, love Rachel Brenke. Yeah, again, it's an investment. It's going to cost money. Go buy it. Go do it. Okay, cool. Yeah, Tony, sketchy. Exactly, Tony. Okay, cool. Matt said, I had someone not be able to download from Dropbox. LOL. I think you're referring to digital files. Yeah, man. Sometimes people are technically incapable, and that's okay. All right, a whole bunch more questions. Let me keep going. I'll keep prioritizing live ones as they come, and we'll go from there. All right, cool. Mackenzie wrote on Facebook here just earlier today. She says, I have 3 weddings coming up at venues that are gorgeous, and I'd love to be on their preferred list. Any suggestions on how to follow up with a venue after shooting a wedding? Mackenzie, why do you have to wait for after you shoot the wedding? Why? You don't have to wait till after you shoot the wedding. Go, start building a relationship earlier than that. You can, by all means, you can wait to shoot the wedding, and you could try to get to know people. But you could also go and do other things for that venue, right? And so, a great example would be, okay, so we're hitting February. I love holidays because venues always will have some sort of event going on. And so in the past, I've loved to photograph an event for a venue, even offer to do it on the house, right? To say, hey, I see that you're going to be having this Christmas celebration. Hey, I see there's going to be an Easter celebration. You've got your new spring decor up. I'd love to come in and photograph that for you. I'd love to do some shots of your venue to update your website. Can I come by and take these images and hook you up with those? These are things you could do to show up and give them value up front. Go look at their websites. Do the work ahead of time. Don't assume their website blows. Go look and see, do they need new work on their website, right? And don't tell them your website blows, but be like, hey, I see some of the pictures on your website are a little bit dated. I'd love to show up, take some new pictures of your storefront. I'd love to show up and take new pictures of the hall or the venue. Can I do that? Oh, by the way, I'm going to be photographing with you guys next month. I can't wait to give you those images too. Just start giving value. People are basic. Give people value, and don't bring up a preferred vendor list. You get that, right? Don't bring it up. Deliver to value. Look, I just posted this on Instagram. I think yesterday. Give. Ask. That's when you ask later, okay? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Okay, Mackenzie went on to say they all just got new websites in the past few months, actually. That's fine, but so go check out their website, or go check out their images. Are the images good? The next thing is venues change styling and design based off of seasons. And so maybe you can't do one right this season, but maybe as spring hits, maybe that's your angle. Hey, spring's just around the corner, and your flowering trees out front are going to bloom for about 1 week. Can I come in and photograph the front of your space with those trees and give you those images for online? Just get creative, girl. Okay. Heather, you're not that late, Heather. You can rewatch it. All right, let's keep going. Emily, let me hop into Emily's question. Emily says this: Hey Ben, I love all the emotional shots that you get. Have I just been shooting a bunch of stuffy weddings? Is there a way to bring out emotion? Is there a way to bring that emotion out more, or does it just depend on the wedding? Thanks. Emily, there's no doubt that certain weddings are more emotional than others. It's just people, right? There's certain weddings, there's certain people that the whole day, for so many reasons, it's going to be more emotional than other times. And so this becomes it's the starting process too. It's show what you want to shoot. One of the things that my ideal client, when I think about my ideal client, I also think about my grooms, right? I think about my ideal grooms, not just my ideal brides. And one of the main things that I have listed out in my ideal client is that they are comfortable expressing emotion. And so I'm talking about this it's on our website, right? I'm showing that. And so I'm just naturally attracting the couples that are comfortable expressing emotion. And I understand what you're getting at. That how do you get those if you're how do you show that work if you're not getting those people? It'll happen. It'll happen slowly, right? You're going to get that one shot. Maybe everyone on the wedding is entirely buttoned up and they're not expressing emotion, but maybe just the grandma did, right? So maybe you focus in on that and you put that on your website. The second thing is this: in terms of emotional shots, the most emotional images. How do I put this? the shots that I tend to, and I think most viewers tend to respond to from an emotional level, are ones that they can see themselves in, and ones that bring you in close. And so what I mean is they literally can see themselves being right next to that person. And so this is a shooting style thing, because majority of the wedding, I'd say about 75% of my weddings, I'm shooting with a 35 millimeter, effective on a full frame sensor. Okay, I just switched over to Fuji, so that's like a 23 millimeter. So it's the proximity that also, because you feel the emotional weight when you're in that close. And so when you're looking at the photograph, you almost feel the proximity of the photographer they become a part of the emotional connection that's occurring, right? When you see two people hugging and that shot is right there, you know that the photographer is right there with them in that moment. And so, and again, this is one of the reasons I switched to Fuji, because it has complete silent shutter mode. You know you've missed shots, by the way, photographers, right? Pay attention to this, because you don't want to be the photographer who's like clicking, right? When there's something that's really emotional that's going on and everyone's quiet. But the great thing about like mirrorless is the ability to go completely silent shutter. You guys, I was able to capture some of the most beautiful moments of a couple praying together, and they didn't even know I was there because I just tiptoed up. And I shot, and I just walked away, right? Like, you can become a part of those moments in a way that's far less obtrusive, and it gives you the ability to really be present there. As well, the size. A little Fuji, I'm using the XT2. It's this little small camera with a small, like my lens, I'm just using the new 23 f2. It's about this big. Like, it fits in my hand. There's something that when you step in front of a person with a huge SLR with the battery grip and the 7200, and you're right there in their face, that it locks up emotion, and it makes people feel like they're being watched, and it makes people feel like they can't be themselves. And I love just having a single little neck strap with a nice little thing, a nice little camera right around my neck, and I can just be Ben Hartley on a wedding day. I don't have to be this voyeuristic photographer, but I can be present. A couple other tips while we're talking about this. It means that you can't be a stranger to that couple. It means that the first time that you get to physically interact with that couple has to be before the wedding. It means I've spent time with them in person, if possible, right? In their space, getting to know their story, building trust, investing into them, right? Investing in them and building a relationship, because then that changes the whole dynamic of the wedding day. Am I going to cry in front of a stranger? Probably not, but will I cry in front of a close friend of mine, or someone that I actually, they get my story? They have empathy for my story? Yes. And so it's also building those relationships before the day. It's a really good question, Emily. It's kind of like, it's really, I think you wanted a list of maybe ideas and tricks and tips. It's kind of one of those questions, though, that the answer has to be your blueprint. It has to be your why. It has to be your North Star. It has to be what everything in your business is moving towards. If that's what you want to do, then everything has to be from passion and heart and empathy and giving real value to clients before the wedding day. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Mikel says this on Facebook Live right now. Hey, Ben, can you touch base on how to maximize word of mouth marketing? I do the post-booking welcome gift package that is customized for each couple. So someone books and you give them a welcome gift, understood. And I add a personal handwritten note. I rave about my clients and I show them how much I care. Is there more I can do to get my clients raving about me? So yes, Michael, it's a really great question. I think there's so many things to do, and I guess let's maybe even just rewind and talk just about like value in general, because that's all really word of mouth marketing is. It's like you're showing up and delivering more value than the cost, and they're excited about it, and they love it, and they love you, and they want to tell more people about it because your experience was so great, right? And so the stuff that you talked about, you raving about them and you giving them a physical gift and a handwritten note to show them how much you care, I guess I see that and I get that, But Mikkel, that's basic. All right, it's basic. Like when a client comes to a pre-consultation meeting and I give them a gift bag with a handwritten thank you note thanking them for coming and meeting with me, and I give them a bottle of wine or a book, right? That's basic. You might be really excited about the fact that you're doing that, and that's great, be excited, but understand that that's like entry level value, right? And it's extrinsic value too. It's basic. I don't know what else to say. There's a deeper value that you get to give people. And I'm not talking about the end process of delivering their pictures. Once again, that's also extrinsic, right? That's like your job. Like you better be delivering well on their photographs, right? And so, yeah, I guess I want to explain that a little bit more here. Here, let me open up. I've been kind of writing down some thoughts because I've been wanting to talk about this in terms of how to provide like real, genuine value to clients that connects on a heart level. Because again, like that's what we have the ability to do is connect on a heart level with our clients and build trust with them. And like the main gift that you have to give your people is the gift of giving a damn about them. Like giving a damn about their story and who they are and what they care about, and then delivering upon that in the day. And so providing real value is kind of like, for me, 5 things. Number 1 is you have to come into every single encounter, every touch point, every phone call, every text, every meetup, every photo shoot, every delivery of images, every single time you're engaging with your client. There has to be kind of 5 things. Number 1 is empathy. Like you have to be so empathetic towards understanding the context from which they're coming from. Empathetic to their story. In order to do that, you have to actually be interested in them. Like everyone wants to talk about how do I separate myself from everyone else? How do I become interesting in my client's eyes? That way when they leave, they come back and they book me. How do I get someone to actually reach out and contact me, right? You have to be interested in them. You have to be empathetic to their story. Understand where they come from. Not every single bride of yours wants the same thing. They don't all just want pretty pictures, right? They haven't all just seen you on the knot.com and they have this magical idea of what their wedding is going to be about. Like there's so much more that you have to become empathetic towards understanding what they care about. You have to be interested in them and then ask incredible questions about that. And you have to be passionate, like passionate about multiple things. Passionate, yes, about photography, but passionate about them, passionate about actually understanding their story. Because you guys, when you're passionate about giving a shit about them, when they come into your meeting and they're thinking all you're going to do is talk about your portfolio and all you're going to do is talk about albums and your pricing, and then you don't do that, and instead you ask questions about the relationship that they have with their mom and the relationship they had with their dad, and it was the very first thing he fell in love with your groom, and when they tell you he was funny, say, bullshit. What does that even mean to you? Like, what do you mean he's funny? Can you unpack that more? I really want to know. I want to understand this, because the closer I get to be to becoming a friend of yours, the closer I get to be to photograph your wedding like I'm a family member, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be, right? And the more you're going to enjoy those pictures. And so I become passionate about that. And you guys, when you become passionate about your people and passionate about your work, that passion awakens a passion in them, and they want to come alongside that shit, right? Like they want to, dude, people want to be a part of something that is bigger than themselves. And when you can see this passion in you, it just wakens something up in their heart, man. The next thing is this: you have to invest. You have to invest in your leads, dude. If you want word of mouth to work, you have to invest in your leads. And when I say the word invest, I want to be really specific about this. This means that let's talk about investing. Because we all do this as photographers, right? You've got that tab on your website that says investment. And it's a better way of saying like, hey, here's what I cost. And you don't want to say that, so you write investment on your website as that little menu item, investment. Rather than talking all the time about the investment you want your clients to make into you, your leads to make into you, you need to invest in them first. The way an investment works is I put up my money first. I put up my money first. I put up my value first, and then we'll see what happens. Then we'll see if something occurs. You have to actually invest in them. You have to give value to them. There's a value scale that works, you guys. The way for someone to actually book you, your value, let's see, we'll go this way. Your value has to weigh more, has to be more, worth more than the cost. Value and then the cost. If the cost is more than the value, they're not going to buy. They're not going to go with you. I always start with value. I start with value because when I start with value, the cost then just has to balance out. The cost has to work against the value. When you start with cost, this is what I charge, this is what you get, would you like to meet to know more information? Now you've got to work against yourself to try to pile up all the value in order to make those things balance out, right? Invest in your clients up front. Invest in your leads up front before they even book, right? And then, again, the last thing is this. You have to deliver. You just got to deliver on the basic. When you show up, when a client books you and you give them amazing images, bravo, but that was basic. That's what everyone does. Everyone's a photographer. Everyone shoots weddings. Everyone's pretty good, right? It's basic. That's the obvious. Oops, Instagram just fell. Okay, cool. Hopefully I got a chance to answer that, man. Have you, Mikkel, are you unbooked yet? Did you get booked? The entire first module, I break that down step by step by step by. There's an entire 2-hour-long pre-consultation. Actually, that just went away. But look, here's the deal. On Tuesday of next week, I'm going to talk about how to rock your bridal shows, how to run bridal shows to the point that, look, we did one bridal show. Stan was very creative, did a single bridal show about 3 weeks ago when we walked away with $70,000 in sales. Just about, okay? I want to show you guys literally every step that we took to do that because there's a huge misconception in the industry that says bridal shows are garbage, bridal shows are budget brides, bridal shows are not where your ideal client is. And it's not because it's true, it's because photographers do them wrong. Okay? So I'm going to show you how we do it, but I'm bringing this up because Mikkel, at the end of that, I'm going to bring back the pre-consultation meeting, the 2-hour-long pre-consultation meeting that shows you what does it look like to actually provide empathy. What does it show you to actually deploy empathy to your leads, people who have not booked with you? What does it look like to actually be interested in people rather than trying for me to be interesting all the damn time, right? What does it look like for me to actually express passion to my clients, passion that's properly expressed in giving a shit about them? What does it look like for me to show up with 51% of the value, to invest in clients, to invest in leads before they book? And then what does it look like for me to deliver on just the basic? Okay, it's going to be there, so check that out. All right, let's keep going. More stuff. Thanks, you guys, for showing up. I really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun. Okay, cool. Thomas says this. Hey, Thomas. Thomas says, you said that you create a gallery and have the link printed on a card you give out to guests on the wedding. I'll give you guys context for what Thomas is talking about in a second. Do your clients know about that before the wedding? Do you show the whole day? Because there's certain times that a client wouldn't want the guests to enter and see the pictures. Great question, Thomas. Okay, look, use judgment. Use your good judgment. What Thomas is referring to is there's a great option that you can do, and actually Shootproof, you can do this. So with Shootproof, you can actually create the website for the wedding pictures before you shot the wedding. So I've got this like pre-registration page that will collect an email address. And what happens is I can go to the wedding day and I can photograph the wedding. And then when it comes time maybe at the reception, I can have guests sign up to receive access to view those pictures online once the wedding goes live, right? It's a great way to get engagement towards the wedding. It's a great way to build word of mouth. It's also a great way to make album or print sales happen because guests start buying prints for the couple. But anyhow, I digress. No, of course not, Thomas. You don't just do this blanket with everyone. Use good judgment. Talk about this as something that you would love to be able to do for them if they're okay with it, if they value it. And some clients might say, you know what, no, I want those pictures private. Some clients might say, let's make some of the reception images, available for them so they can see themselves, at the table shots and they can see themselves dancing, and you can turn on just accessibility to that one gallery. But some might just say flat out no, some might say yes, some might get excited. So use good judgment, communicate, talk to your clients. It's not something that you should assume. Really good question, Thomas. Renee on live just said, oh cool, we just dropped the link in there for you guys. Okay, Renee online just says, are you picky on which shows you go to? I spent $1,300 to go to a show and $75 for a small local show, and I got better leads from the $75 show. Renee, really interesting analytics there that you just shared. I am pretty picky about the shows that we attend. I want to make sure one of the big things is, rather than the cost it has on me, I just want to do my research. So do your research. You can't just value it based off of dollars alone. So for me, there's a few criteria. One is, again, I'm going to do my research. So I'm actually going to contact the show before I buy. I want to know how much control I have over the location of my space. I want to know what the spaces are going to look like. I also want to contact past photographers who've attended the show and get their feedback from what they experienced. I also want to know, does it cost money for the bride for the couples, for the clients to attend the show, right? Because to be honest, I don't want to do free shows. I only want to do a show where someone has actually invested money to attend, okay? So look, I might just do a $75 show and the bride pays $10 to go there, or I could go to a show that costs $2,000 for me and it's free for everyone. There's so many things to weigh, but yes, I am picky. There has to be intentionality behind the shows that you choose. I'm going to break it all down further on Tuesday for you guys. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost at the hour mark of Q&A Friday. Jimmy Crickets. Whew. Okay, Doug Kendall shot me a message. Doug says this. When do you talk about the photo booth you offer? How do you talk about the photo booth offer and when without sounding salesy? Doug, so we offer a photo booth on the side. It's a great offering, you guys. I think it's a really awesome and easy way for every single photographer to maximize revenue and just kind of get a bonus revenue, diversified income by doing a photo booth. You don't have to have some full physical photo booth. You could create your own kind of system with just a backdrop, and then you bring a shooter who actually just takes the pictures as well. I digress. Doug, I don't push it. Like, it's in our view book, and that's about it. It's on our website. It's our view book. When a lead comes in for a pre-consultation meeting and we get to that section, I say, hey, we have a photo booth. It's the best one that you could possibly get, and it's really dope. If you want to talk more about it, we can, but that's not the focus today. Because, look, I'm not going to trade pennies for dollars. It's something that I don't want it to dilute the conversation about what I really want to be there for. And for me, what I really want to be there for is to be their wedding photographer. I really want to tell their story in that way. And so it's there in the view book. They get it. We talk about it. And I just call it out and say, hey, we have it. It's awesome. Let me know if you want it. But we're not going to spend any more time on it today. If you want to see more, let me know. It's a very soft sell. I could, if I wanted to push it more, I could, but I don't. That's not why I'm a photographer. It's just kind of a bonus thing. Okay, let's keep going. Jose says this. Jose sent me a message. Jose says, I only have 4 weddings that I've shot. I have a few images from each wedding on my landing page, and it's in his wedding section of his website. Do you recommend I post those images of each wedding individually, meaning have 4 separate wedding galleries that takes a visitor through each full wedding, right? Or do you do one kind of portfolio section of all the images from the wedding? Jose, I don't think there's not a right way to do this or a wrong way to do this. It's kind of like a branding question, and it depends on the quality of those weddings. Let me explain. I think it can be really awesome when I see photographers who are able to do a full wedding kind of story, right? Where they have what you're talking about, like those 4 weddings, all broken into a gallery. Like watch the story, see the story of Sarah and Mike, see the story of Rachel and Jessica, whatever it may be, right? And keep going. But maybe the full storytelling quality, I don't know if it's there yet to put it up on your website, because again, it's going to be everything that they see to start. Maybe it is. Maybe you've got a great way that you can tell those stories by doing it that way. The other option, again, portfolio, it's great too. Like I've even wrestled back and forth. What do we want to do with Stone Story? Do we want to go full wedding stories? Do we want to go just more portfolio and get into those stories when they come in and meet? Dude, I think it depends, Jose. What do you like? What do you feel like you're able to talk about better and in the context of your brand? So unfortunately, Jose, there's not a black and white answer for that one. This comes down to you and how you feel most comfortable telling those stories. Okay. Thanks for asking, though, man. Okay. Mikkel, I think I already answered Mikkel's question. Yes, I did. Okay. This question came from Armand's, and Armand says, Hi, Ben. I'm currently debating as if I should continue with weddings at all. At my current pricing, if I divide the hours spent at each wedding, I don't make that much. I invest quite a lot of time per client, and I'm not sure if I should. I know what is my cost per hour, but if I charge that, I won't get brides booked because the price will have definitely doubled by that point. How do you grow out of that scare? Thank you, Ben. Armand, it's a really good question. You're kind of coming to terms with the fact that what you're charging right now is just not worth it. I get it. Like, it's not worth it. And you're scared that if you raise your prices, that you are going to price yourself out of the market. Look, I think you're right. I think, like you just said, your prices will double if you do what you do. And so don't do that. If you double your prices today, it's just scary for me to give you that advice. I'm not going to sit here and give you the advice that you should, yeah, go do it, man. You go and rah, and you can do it. You can do anything. Like, I don't, maybe you got a family to take care of. Maybe you've got, like, kids. And so I don't want to give you the advice to just say, yeah, go for it. Look, if you've got that other financial security and your family or your children, they're not depending on you, then maybe, yeah, go do it. But I hesitate to say that. Instead of, I feel like what's happened, Armand, is that you've come to this conclusion and you're going black and white on it. Don't go black and white on it, man. Don't go black and white. Things in life are never black and white. You don't have to either double your prices or fucking quit everything. You get that, Armand, right? But start leveling your shit up, right? Maybe this month you raise your prices $300 and you start valuing and incorporating print and in-person sales because you're going to be able to make a lot more that way, right? Maybe you start investing into yourself and to discover what's the best way to maximize each wedding that you have. Maximize, because you can only shoot so many weddings, dude, right? You got like, I don't know, 40, 30, 20, how many weddings do you want to shoot a year? You can only shoot so many weddings. So how are you going to maximize the revenue per wedding? Okay, and just start at that. Start with print. Start with raising your prices slowly, right? But you don't have to quit. You don't have to double it, and you don't have to quit. There's a medium in the middle, and I think what's happened is you've encountered this, and you're freaking the fuck out, and you don't know what to do. You don't have to. You don't have to go black and white, okay? Yeah, you don't have to do it. Okay, let's keep going. Angela says, "Thank you for doing these live Q&As. I love that you're so consistent with why." With your why of believing people deserve to be known. The way you do these totally makes us all feel known. Keep it up, Ben. Dude, Angela, thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate that. Man, I do. God, I really appreciate you, Angela. I appreciate everyone who's here. Okay. Scott says this. FTFO. What's FTFO stand for? Tony, help me out. Okay, Amy says this. I was terrified to up my prices. Over 6 months I've raised them, and I've got more bookings than I ever thought I would. Thanks to the help to you. Awesome, Amy. It's so cool, girl. Okay, cool. Let me keep going. Scott says this. Hey, Ben, this post is great. Okay, wait, let me skip the compliment. Okay, so one thing I'm super excited about, this came from Scott. Oh, freak the F out. Tony, that's awesome, and you're hilarious. Okay, Scott says this. One thing I'm super excited to incorporate this year is a premiere day, in-person presentation of the images from a wedding, not just sending your client a link, but sitting down with your couple and presenting those images. Scott's really excited to do that this year. He asked me, can you explain how you prepare that? I'm pretty sure you use Fundy to present the images. Also, you do the album design then as well, correct? Explain your premiere process. Scott, really awesome question. Dude, if you want to talk about value, you want to talk about giving people value, so, like, one of the greatest values that you can give them is to foster the context in which they actually see their pictures for the first time. This is not a disservice. There's so many photographers out there that are like, my client doesn't have time, I don't want to become a disservice, I don't want them to have to come in for another meeting. Shut up. It's not true. The service that when you just email your client after you shoot their wedding, or do you get that? When you just email them the pictures, how lame that is, how shitty that is. They're in the Target parking lot, and someone just cut them off or something, and they get the email on their phone, and they open it up, and now they're looking at their pictures for the first time in that context, away from you're doing them a disservice. Instead, create an amazing experience and invite them to come together and share in that, and then foster that shit. Right? It can be in your apartment. Light some candles, bake some cookies, put some prints on the wall, dim the lights, put your cat in the closet, and have them come over to your apartment and create an experience for them to see their pictures for the first time in the proper context. Anyhow, and so furthermore, I don't want my clients to see their pictures for the first time one at a time. Isolated, here's you as the bride. Isolated, here's you as the groom. Isolated, here's you coming down the aisle. Isolated, here's your family pictures. I want them to see their pictures for the first time in a narrative format, Because that's the way that we connect stories. That's the way our brain works. Our brain doesn't work as that was a picture, that was a picture, that was a picture. Our heart says this was a memory and an experience and a story, and it connects to everything. And so the first time our clients see their pictures, they're seeing a full spread that tells the story of her getting ready. It doesn't show a picture of one picture of her with her dress kind of like off. It's the story of her getting her dress on, right? And so I'm designing this ahead of time inside of Fundy software, and I'm presenting it to my clients ahead of time inside of Fundy. Okay? If you guys don't have Fundy, like just like go and get it right now. It's the most important piece of software that I own apart from Lightroom. But that's the way that clients see the pictures the first time in a narrative format. Okay? And so, and the album's already pre-designed, and then they're going to help me finesse that album down to exactly what they want. Okay, Scott, great question, man. Tony's got a question here. This might be the last question, you guys, and then I might get out of here. It's Friday. I'm going to get some more things done before the weekend hits. Tony has this is a tech question. I love it. Well, it's not really a tech question. Okay, I need to get target clients and walk away from big lots. It's funny. Okay, Tony says this. What are your thoughts on print credit versus packages? Using 25% of sales model and an a la carte pricing to allow clients to purchase the printed items they want. Tony, I like you, man. I like the way you think. I had to ask Tony a follow-up question to that to make sure that I understood everything that he meant. So essentially, there's, and Tony, you continue to correct me if I'm wrong here, man. I know you're watching live right now. So he says this, okay, hypothetically here. These are all hypothetical numbers, made-up numbers. Don't obsess over numbers, you guys, right now. Instead of offering an album print credit, have a base collection that includes time and talent and engagements with gallery, etc. Have a basic collection, and then give them $1,000 print credit. Let's say it's going to cost you $250. $1,000 print credit costs you $250 that they'll then use to purchase from the a la carte menu items at a minimum of 300% markup or whatever the value is. Okay. I know I just flew through that real quick. I'm going to try to re-explain this. This is what I want to make sure, Tony. I'm going to re-explain what you've just written to me because it gets a little techie here. It gets a little technical. And I want you to just say, yes, you got it. I think what Tony's referring to is there's a couple different ways that you can go about albums and you can go about prints. So you could have a collection, right? And inside of that collection would be, let's say, an album that they could, hold on one second here. Yeah, an album, an album print credit. I have a base collection that includes, give them $1,000 print credit. Tony, I'm still slightly confused because there's so many different ways that you could be saying this, or so many different ways because it's semantics too. Are you saying the two different ways to go about doing things is rather than having a collection that includes an album and then a print credit, have just a collection and then give them outside of that, hey, you also get $1,000 print credit? Yeah, credit versus product. Thanks, man. That's all I needed. Okay, so here's the deal. Tony, credit versus product. He just answered what I was curious about. What he's saying is this. What's my opinion on having a package that includes, let's say, an album or a package that includes wall art and then having that built right into the cost of the package, or having a cheaper package that then I give them, plus you get $1,000 album credit, plus you get a $500 print credit. Here's the way I feel about that, Tony. This is, for me, this is one of those things. There's certain things in business that are like, this works for me, this might work for you. There's also just things that just effing work. This is kind of one of those things that, this is what I do. I'm curious what other people do, and what I've seen. Because I've done both. When I've done, here's your package, plus you get a $500 print credit, they look at me and they say, it feels like fucking fairy dust, right? When I say, here's your package, and you get a $500 print credit. The print credit feels like I'm just reaching for something, and all they see is $500, right? That they don't get reduced from the package. They just see I get $500 to spend on something that I may or may not want, right? And And so then what I get, their request is, well, can you remove the $500 print credit and take $500 off my package? And it invited that more because it focused more on the the cost. It looks like Instagram's running out, by the way. So we'll see you guys in about a minute. It's going to cut me off. Anyhow, and so I kept getting the request, hey, can you just, I don't want the $500, can you just take $500 off my package? Because it focused on that rather than you get print, you get an album, let me show you it, this is what's included in every package, okay? So, and then going back to when there's a collection that includes a physical album, that may or may not be built into the cost, depends how you've done things, but when there's a physical album, it then allows me to focus more on the value of print in terms of I get to talk about albums in my own life. I get to talk about my family album. I get to open up and look at albums and say, look, and I tell them this because I've gotten the question, I know what you're thinking, Tony, already. Well, what about the person who just wants to remove the album and get the credit back or to get that money off? At that point, it's not credit. It's not this thing. It's no, this is my conviction. This is the album. This is why I do what I do. If you don't have this album, then I won't shoot your wedding. Like I promise you, I've had to tell people that. Look, I won't photograph your day unless you get an album. That's how much I believe in it. It's because it's passion, it's conviction, it's my North Star, it's everything that I do. And by this point too, people get that. When they've sat down with me, they understand that. And so even if they start, they usually start by saying this, I'm pretty sure I already know your answer, but what if I want to take away the album to try to save some money? I just tell them right off the bat, look, I'm sorry, but the reason I'm photographing your wedding is to give you your real memories back. And if I don't do that, you're never going to look at your pictures again. I know what you're thinking. You're going to say you are, but in 2 months, no one's coming over to look on Facebook. In a year, you better believe that you're not going to go online to go back through your gallery. Your kids won't see your pictures, and I'm sorry, but I won't photograph your day unless you have something real, and that's why every collection gets an album. And I have a harder time saying, and that's why every collection gets a $500 print credit. And it's too wishy-washy. It's too meaningless to me. I need there to be something physical and real that comes with every collection. So, Tony, that's my personal experience and my opinion on that. Because it's just like a heart thing for me that I got to get behind. So, cool. You guys, that's it. That was a long Q&A Friday. We went for over an hour. You guys, thank you so much, man. Please understand this. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. I love getting a chance to sit down and to hear from you. This betters me. Do you guys understand this, by the way? Someone asked me, Ben, what happened to the podcast? Where's the podcast go? And I understand I'm behind on it, but I need you guys to get this. I run Style and Story Creative full time. We are running a photography studio full time. When I do the podcast, that's just me showing the fuck up because I care about you guys. When I do these live videos for you, it's just me showing up. When I create like products and just like do stuff, it's like my side thing. So I'm doing so much for you. And every time that you guys show up and you say thank you, or you ask, even when you ask questions, or you shoot me an email, like I'm so grateful for you guys. So that's it. I just want to say thanks. We'll see you guys Monday. By the way, side note, I added a different bonus. The other bonus has expired. If people were interested in booked, I was giving away 2 bonuses over Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday they all went away. Look, I reward people who take action on stuff because you guys got to take action. You have to start doing things. And I've had people who've asked me, Ben, can't you just go and add the bonus back in? Can't you just go like give it to me? I want to pay you money. And I'm like, I get it. But I'm a man of my word, and I said I was going to take him away on Wednesday, and I did. I'm rewarding the people who took action, and they actually did. They actually did go out and get it. And I'm just going to reward you guys. So anyhow, I re-added it. I added a different bonus. If people are interested in getting booked, it's the entire Lightroom editing course with all my presets and everything. And so anyhow, that's in there. And that one's also going to go away in a couple days. So anyhow, check that out. In other news, on Tuesday, I'm going to do an online training for you guys on bridal shows. I'll put up a thing to register for. You'll have to register for that, so I'll drop that for you guys. Okay. Oh yeah, a part of the other things I'm doing, my wife and I, we're gonna have twins in April, so there's also that. So okay, cool. I love you guys. Cheers. Bye.